If you really want to understand your avoidant partner or your avoidant ex and why they behave the way they do, listen to this video. Avoidants have a deep wound of shame. Shame is the driving wound behind avoidant attachment. Shame often gets confused with guilt, but they are not the same thing. Guilt is actually a healthy emotion. Guilt is your brain's way of saying, I did something wrong. It means you have a conscience. But guilt can be resolved. When you feel guilty, you can make amends if you hurt somebody, or you can stop repeating the behavior that you feel guilty about. But whereas guilt is, I did something wrong, shame is, I am something wrong. I'm defective. I'm not lovable. I'm worthless. I'm no good. That is shame, and shame is a toxic emotion. It's maladaptive. It serves no purpose, and there's no resolution to, I am something wrong. So why do they have this wound of shame? Going back to childhood. This is a person that was on the receiving end of consistent childhood emotional neglect. They weren't given that love and nurturing in the way that they needed, often growing up in households where you don't talk about feelings. And for fearful avoidance, in addition to that neglect, they often experience chaos, trauma, sometimes even abuse. So this is a person that personalized that neglect. They personalized their childhood, growing up to feel like there's something wrong with them, that they're defective, they're not lovable. And this is what drives their attachment style. They put up walls around their heart because their fear, and it largely lies in the subconscious, although some are consciously aware of it, their fear is if I lower my walls and I let my partner in, my partner is going to figure me out. I will be exposed as being defective and not enough and not lovable, and they will reject and abandon me. So that's why emotional closeness feels so unsafe to an avoidant. But emotional distance feels safe because if there's emotional distance, they get to keep their walls up and they don't risk exposure for being defective. They're not defective, but it's what they believe themselves to be. So that's why things like emotional intimacy feel so triggering. This is also why things like disagreements, confrontation, expectations are so triggering. They learned that communication equals rejection. It confirms that shame. Ooh, if I communicate my feelings, I'm going to get shot down as not being good enough. I'm not going to be able to meet expectations. I couldn't meet the expectations of my parents. I'm ultimately a disappointment, and if I try to meet expectations, I'll be exposed as being defective. This is also why they struggle to self-reflect and take accountability. Because in order to grow as a person, one must self-reflect. You got to process emotions, not suppress them, but you also need to be able to take accountability and say, I did this wrong. This is a mistake I made. But this is how I can do better. We learn from our mistakes. That's how we grow as people. But for the avoidant, with that wound of shame, accountability is painful because in their mind, it confirms their own shame. It confirms their own inner defectiveness. It's, I did this wrong because I'm defective. Look, it's proof I'm worthless. It's proof I'm broken. It's proof there's something wrong with me. Too painful. So their brain is almost subconsciously wired to defend themselves and protect themselves against that wound of shame by projecting the responsibility of their insecurities, fears, and behaviors onto external things, such as their partner. So if they make their fears and their behavior your fault as their partner, they get to avoid confronting that wound of shame because it's your fault, not theirs. So they don't have to take accountability and they don't have to actually face that wound at all. So the entire attachment style is built off of that wound of shame and shielding themselves from it, avoiding it, not dealing with it. Can they heal it? Absolutely. But they have to go against their lifetime of programming to confront that wound of shame and do different behaviors and also heal that wound through things like therapy, behavioral changes. And the human mind, it definitely learns in repetition. The more you repeat anything, the more automatic it becomes. So healing avoidant attachment involves two major parts. One is therapy to heal that core wound, and two is to learn different behaviors in repetition to reprogram the emotional mind that way and make new behaviors the automatic go-to instead of the old avoidant behaviors. But it's all from a wound of shame. So when they push you away, when they create distance, when they're doing maladaptive behaviors that are hurtful, it's not because you're not a good enough partner. It's because it's not that you're not enough. It's because they feel like they're not enough. So they're trying to shield themselves from it and avoid confronting that inner wound of defectiveness and shame.